Hello and welcome to the next Fat Loss in 15 episode. So, I think it's been a couple of weeks since I recorded any of this actually, because we recorded two and I was away on holiday for a week and then I just had a crazy busy week off. So, I might be fumbling all over my words today because that's what I tend to do when I've not had much practice speaking on camera, but we're going to persevere and we're just going to dive right in and maybe record 2 episodes right now. So, going to stick to our usual format: professional, business, or personal, professional, and fat loss. So, as I say, I was just on holiday and we were over in Ireland for a week, which was great fun. Got to go and see the Open live, which is my first time ever at a live golf event. It was a bit weird. It was enjoyable getting the buzz, getting to see all the atmosphere, but you don't actually see much golf, especially around a course like that where there's loads of dunes and ups and downs. But it was a great day. We had brilliant weather for it, and then we just had a really nice week up on the north coast. But over the 9 days or whatever I was off, I drank pretty much for 9 days, and I ate loads of meals out, barely cooked. I don't even know if I think we maybe cooked one time. And at the end of it, I just felt full. I felt like if I tipped over, like the Guinness would just come pouring back out of my mouth. And we have another holiday in about 2 weeks on Monday, so we've been back almost 2 weeks now, which is crazy. So I thought I would go on quite an aggressive diet because I just didn't feel right. I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. I felt like I was really bloated. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a real aggressive 4-week health kick. I'm going a really aggressive diet. And what most people say is aggressive diets aren't good for you because all it does is cause restriction. I've said that sort of stuff myself, but it's all about context, all about perspective. Going on an aggressive diet is fine if it's short term and you have an understanding. It's all about managing expectations. So I know this is only going to be for 4 weeks, and then once after the holiday I can go on a more sustainable diet. So I've literally come back. We got home on the Sunday night at about 9 p.m. and I was in work for 5:30 on the Monday morning, and I just dove straight into it. I was knackered, a wee bit hungover, feeling crap, and I was like, no, I'm just going to make myself feel better. I'm going to get into the diet. I'm going to get taking care of my health and get after it. So essentially what I've been doing, I weighed myself at 97 kilos on that Monday morning, which is the joint heaviest I've ever been in my life. And then I went on an aggressive diet. So anywhere between about 1,800 and 2,200 calories per day, at least 150 grams of protein, a minimum of 10k steps. I'm really gunning for 12,500 and 5 training sessions per week. 2 upper body sessions, 1 lower body session, 1 steady state cardio, and 1 HIIT session in there. 2 rest days, making sure I hit the steps, making sure I hit the calories. And so far, this is Wednesday the following week, so we're 10 days in. I have lost 3.5 kilos, or about 8 pounds down. The goal was to try and lose between 4 and 8 kilos over the 4 weeks. And yes, aggressive diets do work if you understand the purpose of them, and if you understand that it is going to be short term. You can't be trying to take this aggressive approach for a long period of time because you shouldn't constantly be dieting. That's why with our clients, we tend to focus on the behaviors and the habits that drive the fat loss and make it long term. And then if we have an event coming up, we can take a more aggressive approach rather than just taking the aggressive approach, slashing everything and having nowhere else to go. So how do I feel off of that? I lost 3.5 kilos, as I said. I've been weight training, I've been doing my cardio, I've been doing my steps. And you know what? My body actually feels great. I'm not getting anywhere near as hungry as I typically would. I think I look better already and I feel better because I've been taking care of myself, and most importantly, I've not been drinking. I actually skipped a night out on Saturday there because I just didn't want to put myself in the situation where I would be influenced by my mates to drink. And I felt great on Sunday. I went and played golf and then had a chill afternoon, did some work, had some nice food. So taking care of yourself does have a lot of benefits. So that's where I am right now. Got another 16, 17 days of that to go, and we'll kind of see how it goes, and I'll give you another wee update next Wednesday on how the diet is going so far. Okay, and then on to the next topic, which I literally just finished writing an email about a couple of minutes ago, and I wanted to include it in today's professional part of the podcast or the YouTube episode, and that is I'm seeing a current trend, or have been seeing a current trend in the fitness industry over the last couple of years, and that is everyone under the sun, no matter seems if they're just new to the industry or if they've been coaching for a long time, they seem to have these videographers, professional photographers, taking all this really cinematic content that looks great, it looks really polished. I mean, great videos, great imagery, and it's just got this thought that's been going, this battle, tug of war that's been going in my head, and it's having the professional aspect against the personal aspect, because we are a premium coaching facility, so surely our imagery, our branding should match that premium quality. So should we get a professional videographer in to do all our content for us, to record these reels, to record these podcasts, to do our testimonials? But then we've got the flip side of that is we're a coaching business. It is a deeply intimate, deeply personal thing that we do. It's a deeply intimate career, so we want that personal connection. So by me just filming everything on my iPhone, including the testimonials, these videos, the sessions that we do in the gym, and all the images are taken by myself and then edited by myself on my Mac, it brings that kind of nitty gritty, the behind the scenes, the real people behind the business, the real people in the business. And I feel like that builds the connection, that builds the trust. But I've got this tug of war saying I want to build this authority with the professional content, because we, as I say, we are a premium business, but we also need the trust aspect of it. So this is the tug of war that I've been going through in my head. So I would absolutely love to hear from you and your opinion on the matter. Do you feel like that professional content makes everything seem too polished, too unreachable? Because the fitness industry is already incredibly intimidating. So by everyone looking perfect, by everything looking polished and super refined, does that put you off? Or do you prefer the more polished stuff? Does that really appeal to you and make you think they're professional service, I want to go work with them? Or do you prefer kind of where we've been angling towards, which is the personal nitty gritty, into the trenches? These are the real people that we work with, and here are the real coaches, and here's how we do it. And what I really want to do is try and find a balance of the two, but that is something that I can't seem to find at the moment, and that is where's my head at. So I would absolutely love your feedback on that. What's your opinions? And hopefully it will help me lean one way or the other, because it's something I've been struggling with for a while. Okay, and now onto the fat loss aspect of the podcast, or why do I keep saying podcast, of the episode. And this kind of ties in to what I've been doing with my aggressive diet, and that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and that is feeling hungry should be a normal part of the progress. I know I've had this in the past. I always grew up very skinny, and then I put on muscle, and then a wee bit of fat as I got into my 30s, as I've been running this business, because I'm much more sedentary, but I've still been eating, and it's almost like I've been scared of feeling hunger. So I would eat sometimes for the sake of eating. I wouldn't eat badly, but too much of good food is still enough to put you into a calorie surplus and help you, or not help you, and make you put on fat. So there is this huge fear, huge stigma around hunger. So on this diet, one thing that I've been trying to do is really lean into the feeling of hunger and spend more time feeling hungry, which means that I can have bigger meals because I'm not eating as frequently. And you know, I found that I don't actually need to eat as frequently as possible. And I used to get really bad hypos, and I think that's because I was eating too frequently and eating too much too frequently. So when I had a period where maybe I got stuck in work, I had too many sessions, my blood sugar would crash because it was used to being fed and it didn't need it. So now I'm doing the exact opposite, and I'm prolonging the periods of hunger, not only to get my body used to it, but to allow my body to adapt and use the fat stores as fuel. So just wanted to add this wee bit on at the end to clear that stigma up around hunger. And I think you should be feeling hungry on a fat loss phase, and you shouldn't be panicking, and you shouldn't be worrying if you do. But saying that, if you do want to minimize the amount of hunger you're feeling, because I know it can get a bit overwhelming, it might distract you from work, is make sure you're eating a high protein diet, an absolute minimum of 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. But I would say the ideal range is anywhere between 1.5 and 2 grams per kilogram. So let's say if you weigh 60 kilos, an absolute minimum should be 60 grams per day. Ideally, it would be between 90 and 120 grams per day. And if you're really pushing for it, 120 grams plus per day. And if you have a high protein diet, you're going to stay fuller for longer. You're going to spare your muscle, which means when you do lose fat, you're going to have the shape and muscular tone that you're looking for. And number two, eat lots of nutritious green veggies. Pack out your meals with them. They're very low in calories, they're high in volume, they're full of micronutrients, and they're just going to have your insides working properly. And when your insides are working properly and you've got more food in your belly, you're not going to be as hungry, you're going to feel better, and essentially you're just making fat loss easier on yourself. So that's one thing that I've been doing quite a lot in the last 10 days. I made this meal and it was literally just a kilo of turkey mince, and then I put cavolo nero, which is a type of kale, which I actually really like. I put in some tender stem broccoli, and I put in some courgettes, and then some chickpeas, kidney beans, and black beans. And what I did, mix it all up with a bit of soy sauce, and it might not sound like much, but it was absolutely delicious. And do you know what the macros worked out for those 5 meals? It was 80 grams of protein and only 490 calories. And that's a huge amount of protein for very few calories, and the portions were massive. And it was keeping me full for a long time, which made staying in this aggressive calorie deficit much easier than you probably think it would need to be, especially being on such an aggressive diet. Okay, so aggressive diets are very possible and do work, but only for short term. Please let me know what you think about personal versus professional in terms of the videography and the cinematics and the branding that's put out there. And final one, hunger is normal in the fat loss phase, so please don't be scared of it. Okay, please let me know your thoughts on today's episode. Please reach out, give me your feedback, answer my questions. It would mean a lot. And I'll see you in the next episode.